You have all heard about mysterious Russia. Russian character, Russian vodka, Russian expanses, Siberia, forests, beers. But I will tell you about the secrets that no one has yet solved, although many have encountered these amazing facts. Look at these shots. Does anything surprise you? Who and when carried out this work? Who painted the entire space with even lines? But these are not just lines, these are clearings in the forests. In parentheses, we note that 46% of Russia's territory is forests, and you can't work in these forests every day. And so where do these lines from horizon to horizon come from? In Siberia, in the forest tundra of Yakutia, and beyond the Urals. At the same time, the detail, the clearings in the forests, for some reason do not overgrow. Why? What kind of wizard in a helicopter treats everything with some unknown chemicals? There are no such wizards, and there are lines, clear with even intervals, as if the best surveyors had walked across the country and carried out the necessary work. Only no one knows such surveyors, but they would need a couple of thousand teams, no less. And they would work for more than 1 year, because the distance that needs to be drawn, let's say for simplicity, is at least 3 million km. Hence the question, what kind of markings are these? We have all heard about geoglyphs, the Nazca Plateau, figures on the plateau, and who created these drawings, striped the earth. There is no answer, separately. It should be emphasized that the same stripes were in other parts of the world, but they are probably now hidden by buildings and human activity, fields, gardens, roads, and cities. But in Yakutia there are no people, and the activity is minimal, so everything is perfectly preserved. Those who wish can verify this by browsing Google Earth. There you can find similar lines on all continents. And I will repeat the question again. Why do all governments hide this fact from the people, although they quietly use the markings for their own needs? You must agree. It is much easier to build a road with such markings than to invest huge amounts of money in their own excavations and measurements. The question remains unanswered. The secret remains a secret. Now let's talk about buried buildings, or rather, about buildings built a long time ago, about 200 years ago, which for some reason are hidden underground for a whole floor, or even more. Look, during restorations, major repairs of old buildings, craftsmen encounter surprises. They have to go deep into the ground for several meters to strengthen the foundation with concrete. Look, these are not fakes, not a montage. These are buildings in different cities, in different landscapes, but everywhere it is the same. The doors lead to the second floor, to one of the windows, and the real entrance is there, below, and the foundation is even lower. And the question arises, how is that? Who built like that? No, maybe such huge foundations are needed somewhere, but why are there windows? Why are there brick walls there? Underground, it is common knowledge that brick is destroyed by moisture. Wait, what will historians tell us? And again, no clarity. Historians are talking nonsense that they used to build in such a way that houses could simply sink into the ground under their own weight, settle, and that's it. Or that all this is just a cultural layer, like the dust of centuries has built up by 6 meters, over 200 years. Again, nonsense, childish babble, nothing else. Although there is an obvious answer, this soil, all these clay deposits, the consequences of mud flows and floods. But there is no information about floods that washed away our cities 200 years ago. Historians will tell you for sure that there were no floods. There were none. But who will believe them? Facts are stubborn things. Look, here is the last fragment of our mosaic, Moscow, the Bolshoi Theater. When they started the restoration, the builders expected that the foundation of this building would be about 5 meters below the current horizon line. But it turned out that the theater is underground. There are 27 meters. That's almost 10 floors. And all this trampled cultural layer. Or maybe they built it so stupidly. They changed the city landscape, paved new roads, but didn't demolish the old building, so it ended up at the bottom. It's funny, but there is no answer, and there was no flood. A mystery, it's all a mystery. The Vanan, the last third point. Pyramids of Russia. Everyone knows that one of the 7 wonders of the world is the Egyptian pyramids. And what is there in the frosty country of former equality and brotherhood? Look, here are some well-known facts. The Salbike Pyramid was found in Caucasia, in a place known from old maps as the Valley of the Kings. That is, there are pyramids there, the tombs of the royal persons of Tartary. It is officially recognized by science and even dates back to the 14th century BC. The base is square, the sides are 70 meters long. The pyramid itself is built from slabs weighing up to 50-70 tons, and all this is covered with clay. The base is reinforced along the perimeter with a belt of large stones, and no one can answer who mined these stones at that time, and most importantly, how they were delivered here. No carts can withstand such weight, and there are no roads here. Leffa, it will not work to blame everything on the labor of hundreds of thousands of slaves. Where did so many slaves come from? And again, only questions. The mystery remains a mystery, but now no one studies these questions. Next, look at the Nakhodka pyramids, well known to Far Easterners. Here are the bare facts. 2 pyramids, visible to thousands of residents as brother and sister, were measured, and one was completely destroyed, allegedly because stones and building materials were needed. This is what these pyramids looked like. The pyramid nicknamed Brother, which was over 300 meters high, was destroyed, and they started to destroy from above, cutting off layer after layer, as if from above was the most convenient. It's like entering a house through a window. Why not from below? People say that there were slabs inside, there were paintings, frescoes, but now you can't prove anything. Everything has disappeared. Here is the will of the party officials, who for some reason were bothered by the truth. And the most interesting question is, who? The third is a pyramid of polar Siberia. The mountain has no official name, few have been here. The polar Urals are still full of mysteries and await researchers. The height is 750 meters, not enough. And how many are there in Egypt? But it is impossible to argue because no one here even thought of starting excavations. The scientists know nothing about these pyramids. There are no such facts. Maybe it is difficult for them to get to the north. Do you know how many pyramids have been found in the blessed Crimea? Look at the map and we see many pyramids on it. They are small. Do not pretend to be the leader in size, but there are not even dozens of them, many more. Some are almost destroyed. Others have sunk into the ground. Scientists should think about the question of why there are so many of them here. After all, everyone knows that the border of the coast has changed century after century. It is only known that enthusiasts tried to drill a hole in the wall of one pyramid, but failed. But there are samples of concrete and cladding. And here are the Krasnoyarsk pyramids. Not just one. There are many legends about them. Everything is unusual here, and the air, and the streams, and the energy. But no one studies them, does not conduct excavations, as in Yugoslavia. Yes, at present it is impossible to prove that these are really pyramids, and not a miracle of nature. No one has excavated them, has not checked them. Nevertheless, the question remains, why does someone not want to study the real facts and make them public? Who is hindered by discoveries? Maybe by those same authors of history, because history is always written by the victors. Does this mean that we are losers, slaves, and the masters are unknown to us? Think about it.
Discover phenomenal individuals and incredible yet real events on this channel.